going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you rocking with me. Michael here. On our way to an unusual or uncommon, I suppose, Sunday. I think it's an estate sale. I was going to say garage sale, but I think it's technically an estate sale. Saw a post on Facebook this morning that had been canceled yesterday. I didn't even know about it because of the weather. We had some pretty torrential rain, and that they were doing it today. So the only problem with the post was they didn't have a time on it. It seemed like the person that was doing the Facebook post wasn't actually the person like holding the sale, and it had a thing that said if you have questions, call or text Sarah or somebody. But Facebook redacted the phone number, so you couldn't do that anyway. So it's a little after 9. I figure it should have started by now, right? I got to go to Walmart. It's more or less on my way, so we're gonna make a go of it. I went to a couple sales yesterday. There was only one on my list. That one turned out to be a bust. I don't even know why they were having the sale. They really didn't have anything for sale. I think what it was is they had some big furniture, and they just wanted somebody to not only take it, but pay a good amount of money for it. But fortunately, it was actually, what I'm trying to say, that sale was a little bit out of my way, or at least I thought it was, but when I was following GPS, it turned out to be like across the street from Costco. So it wasn't out of my way at all. It was just a waste of, a couple minutes. But on my way out, I passed one that said a warehouse sale. I kind of wish I had turned around immediately and went to it, but I thought, oh no, I'll hit it on the way back, no big deal. Which I did. And this had been the second day of it according to the sign, so it was Friday and Saturday, and I walked in, the place was pretty empty, so they must have done really well. But immediately saw a snow globe, a Frosty the Snowman musical snow globe. Snow globes can be good money on eBay if they're, new in box, especially, obviously, and then, depending on the theme of it, they can be good money. This one comped out between $30 and $40, depending on a number of condition factors. This one wasn't new in box, but still in the box. Box wasn't in great shape. My guess is that they were, opening it and taking it out every Christmas for however many years. But, in the box with the styrofoam is going to make it a little bit easier to ship, a lot easier to, bubble wrap. There's a lot less concern about breakage when you have all that. So I grabbed that, I had that in my hand. I was kind of walking around. They had a lot of Christmas stuff. I don't know. Part of me thinks I should have just made an offer on a lot of the stuff they had, because they were clearly, as we'll get to, they were clearly ready to make a deal, and I probably could have picked up a lot of inventory for very little, but I think it would have been slow moving inventory, and that's like the last thing I need right now, is stuff that's going to sit around for too long. There was a huge CD collection that had some good CDs in it, and the ones I copped out were like, $3 to $5, but they were like same artists. There was a bunch of like Gloria stuff on CDs in there. You can lot them together for $10 or $15. That's decent, But I have a bunch of CDs that haven't sold. I just didn't feel like dealing with it. Maybe I should have. I don't know. But in the moment, I wasn't in the mood. But anyway, so I grabbed this. I didn't even know what it was when I picked it up, but it turned out to be a bike part of some sort. Very old. When I say very old, the box had obvious signs of wear due to age, but the item inside was still in the plastic, looked brand new, like it had never been used, and it had a retail sticker price on it of $40. So I said, well, I know I can make money on this, right? So I had that stuff in my hand. I'm walking around. They had this table. It said everything on top of and below this table is free. So, I'm going to take a look. Nothing that I could sell. Like, there was a bunch of, like, kills, paint, I think it was a construction business or a remodel business of some sort. But, yeah, a bunch of paint, a bunch of, wood stain, things like that. But underneath, they had all kinds of cabling. And I found two used, and I haven't opened them up to see how much is left in there, but those industrial spindles of cat cable. So I snagged those because, we got fiber coming in. I'm gonna have to wire the house up for for Ethernet. I'm gonna have to wire the shed up when we get that. So I don't know that there's definitely not enough to wire the whole house. I don't even know if there's enough to wire from where the fiber's coming in to, you know, like the earliest or the closest, you know, connection point inside the house. There may not be, but you know, shit, it was free, right? So I had that, and then they had this other Christmas display thing that was kind of cool. It was like a stuffed snowman thing, and my wife loves Christmas, so I grab stuff like that when I see it that's in good shape and you know, that I think will kind of fit her style. So I have all this stuff in my hand. I said, and the only thing that had a price on it was the globe. They wanted $10 for it, and I was going to offer them $5. And I said, how much did you want for this? And I was holding up the snowman thing, and she goes, you know, how about $10? And then paused for half a second, literally half a second, and my brain started to go, no, thank you. And then she goes, for everything. And I was like, oh, right? Okay, yeah, sure, we'll do $10 for everything, you know. And as far as I was concerned, I was paying $5 for the snow globe, $5 for that bike stem thing. I still don't know what it is. And then getting the snowman thing for free. I was like, cool, man, great, let's do it. And I was getting the cat cable for free too. So it was just chalking up to be a great deal. I'm paying her, and I don't know, this guy, I don't know who he was, starts throwing my stuff into a bin for me, like a plastic tub, you know, storage tub. And I was like, oh, cool, that's awesome. You know, because obviously I use those all the time. And I said, you know, there was a stack of lids. I said, you know, do you mind throwing in a lid, or what's up with those? And he goes, well, if you want the lids, you got to take them all, because we don't know what lids go to which tubs. And I said, well, if you want me to take all the lids, I want the tubs that they're in. And he grabbed them and threw them. So I got 3 storage tubs, I don't know, like 8 lids. Most of them are going to go in the recycle. You know, and all the stuff that I wanted for $10. Like I said, snow globe comps out between $30 and $40. I'll probably set it at 40 and probably come in around 35, I would guess. The bike stem is weird. No sold comps. One listed for nearly $300. It was like $278.99 or something weird like that. I'm gonna definitely do some more research on that thing, because I don't know anything about it except for that. I can't imagine that price is like accurate. I feel like that's somebody who has the only one on eBay, and so they can set the market. It's vintage. It's possible they don't make them anymore. I don't know. But you know, shit. Even if it's, well, I bought it hoping to get 50, right? Approximately. So, you know, anything above and beyond that is gravy. And if it's in the hundreds, that would be incredible. Potentially challenging the Funai DVD player for flips. So anyway, so that was yesterday. I didn't have my camera with me for a couple of reasons, so you're not going to see that one, but I want to share that stuff with you. We're going to hit this estate sale, and hopefully, shit, I was like, do I have money? And hopefully get some stuff. We've had an okay weekend in sales, I guess. I feel like it's a slow weekend, except that Thursday was pretty good. You'll see that here coming up in another video, but yeah, it's been all right. The stuff we've sold, I'm happy with. I got some good margin items that sold, and then a couple of things that I kind of grabbed for cheap that I didn't know anything about, that, you know, sold for a couple of bucks, you know. So coming up to my turn here, we're almost there. I will pick you back up at the sale. Well, that was a complete waste of time. It was, I don't know what you call that. So first of all, problem number one is that she had an antique booth, and that's what this is. This was her clearing out her antique booth. So everything is priced, you know, it's not even resellers, you know, like it's above eBay prices. She had, and I had a suspicion that she had because it was in the picture.
And she had put him in a box.
She had an NES. Hold on a second. She had an NES and an SNES and some games. And I said, where would you be on that? She said, what do you want? I said, well, I'll potentially take all of it. You know how that conversation goes. She goes, well, I looked up that NES and it's $140. And I looked at her and I was just like, no, it's fucking not. I didn't say the F word, but I couldn't. I was like, I was just laughing. I'm like, no, it ain't. Oh, it is. That's the 001. I looked up. Let me tell you about this thing. First of all, it had the yellowing that happens on the plastic, right? So number one, you're gonna have to clean that up. Number two, it had more than that. This thing had like nicotine tar all over it. Same with the SNES, and then the SNES had a rattle, you know, and I'm like, look, and I pulled it up right there on eBay in front of her. I said, brand new condition. I mean, look at these units, okay? If it works. Oh, it does. And of course, you know, we've all heard that before. I don't even know if you can see me right now. We've all heard that before. It works. And then, no, it worked the last time you turned it on 25 years ago. And, you know, I'm like, it's $60 with free shipping, you know? Some of them for less than that. Like, no, it's not worth $140. And I was only looking at the ones that were classified as 001. You know, I'm like, maybe the system with all of the games, you might get it. You might sell it for, you know, $75, $100, but then you got to ship it and you got fees. And I ran that on her and she was like, oh no, I know. But I'm like, all right. So I looked at the other stuff. It was all just way overpriced. A lot of it was big. It was all furniture, a lot of furniture, a lot of, like, honestly, a lot of junk that like, there's certain people that think because something's old, it's valuable. And this was that. A bunch of old stuff that doesn't have a ton of value. Not to say it has no value, but it doesn't have a ton of value. And, you know, and I started giving it the whole sale on these games too, because I was like, you know, yeah, okay, you know, they're like, she was, those games are good. And I looked up half of them. They're like, you know, at most $10, and that's a stretch. You know, and that's if you part them out one by one, and if you know, take the time to sell them. You know, I wouldn't even do that if I could get them at a price to resell them at. Honestly, I would lot them together. There wasn't enough there. She had, I don't know, Kid Icarus was probably the best game there. Maybe that one's worth a little bit of money. She had the gold Link's Adventure. Or Link's Adventure? Zelda 2? Yeah, Link's Adventure, right? I don't think that has that much value. There was Donkey Kong Classic in there. I mean, good games, fun games, Double Dragon, but there's no value in them. And the systems looked like trash, and I don't think they freaking work, you know? Controllers were in there and all that stuff. So there's money to be made. I was going to offer $50 for the whole thing, and the whole time I'm like, I feel like I'm overpaying at $50, but I'm going to take a stab at it. And we never even got to that. I could never get her to give me a figure. How much do you want for all of it? She would never give me a price because she doesn't know. And what she wants is somebody to walk up and go, oh my God, I'll give you $300 right now. And it's not going to happen. First of all, nobody knows she's having the damn sale. There was some old couple that pulled up behind me. None of us could find it because they were 20 minutes late opening. And then it was just like this tiny little storage unit, you know. She's like, it's been in the back of a storage unit for 20 years. And I'm like, yeah, and it wasn't climate controlled. You can tell. You know, it's just like, come on, guys. It blows my mind how many people are in this business and I don't know, and I guess, you know what it is, they get attached to the shit. They get attached to their stuff. Like, when they're buying it, it's trash, but when they're selling it, it's gold, you know? And it's just pathetic. And they probably paid too much for the stuff to begin with. She said it was her son's, so, you know, they've had it forever, but anyway, so I offered, I was like, well, would you sell just the games? You know, would you sell just the games? She was like, well, what do you want to do? Why do you want just the games? And I'm like, I'm asking if you want to, you know, if you're willing to separate it. Well, people don't, you know, the people are going to want the games. I think if someone's going to buy it, they're going to want the games. And I'm like, well, a second ago you said the system was $140 by itself. So clearly that's not the case. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just the most obnoxious kind of garage sale and the most obnoxious kind of negotiating, you know? Like, I don't mind if I can't buy it at a price that I can't sell it for. That does not bother me in the least. And once I knew she was a reseller, I was fairly confident I was not going to get it at a price that I could afford to sell it for. You know, but I'm also a collector, and if I could have gotten it for a decent price, even if there wasn't meat on the bones, I might have kept them, cleaned them up, kept them. Did I mention that the SNES had something rattling around in there? It sounded like a screw was loose or something. Well, not loose, had come out, but like maybe I would have kept them and used them to test other games when I find them. You know, who knows? I sold my systems 24 years ago to Funko Land to finance buying the N64, an extra controller, the cleaning kit, because that was the thing you did back then, and I think I got Bomberman 64, and then begged my mom to buy me WCW NWO Revenge, and God bless her, she bought it, and boy, that game holds up. I love that game. Oh my God, do I love that game. But I don't know. I'm just sort of like, my head's kind of spinning from this estate sale situation and these stupid video games and how much I looked it up. I know what it's worth, and I'm like, that's another thing that always blows my mind. What do you mean how can you look something up and be so wrong? How is that possible? I don't know. There was like one comp for $140. It had a bunch of stuff, and it looked, at least in their picture, this thing looked brand new in the picture. But when you look at the, you know, when you disregard the outlier and, when you disregard the outlier and look at what they're typically selling for, it was a heck of a lot less, you know? Anyway, I mean, long story short, I left my name and number with her. I'm like, look, if you don't sell it and you want to get rid of it, you can call me. I don't expect to hear from her. Or if I do hear from her, she's going to want, it's going to be the same story. I'm like, well, what do you want for it? You know, and by the way, now I have to come back and pick it up. You know? Yeah, the games were even good. Seriously, like Wheel of Fortune, Millipede. And I don't know, like I didn't look them all up. There was one game I had never even heard of, which shocked me to have never even heard of the game. It was from Hudson Soft, so it was probably a shitty game. Hudson Soft made some garbage there on the NES, but I looked it up and it was like at most $10 shipped. You know, it's same story, you know, same story over and over again. They're like, oh, it's old. They hear that video games are hot. You know, they find a comp that you know, went for a lot, therefore theirs will also go for a lot, and they delude themselves. I'm not saying she won't sell it, but she ain't gonna sell it for the money she wants. It's never gonna happen. I was tempted to throw out $100 on the whole thing, but I wouldn't make it. There was no money to be made if I did that, and I had to check myself. You know, I was so excited to come across an NES and an SNES at a garage sale, but I had to check my own emotions. You know, obviously I have an emotional attachment to that stuff because that's what I grew up on. You know, but I had to check myself. Like, you pay $100 for that, you ain't making any money. Now you are keeping it, and I don't know that I want to keep it because it looks gross. You know, what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if I can't get it clean? You know, I'm gonna have to disassemble the whole freaking thing and clean that plastic for God knows how long and hope I can get it looking good. I don't even remember if I threw an offer out. I might have offered. I offered her $20 for all the games. She goes, there's 12 games there. And I'm like, okay, I'm offering you $20 for all of them. Like, it's almost $2 a game. One of them was Mario Brothers. Okay, it's not worth anything. I don't know. Anyway, so that was a bust. I don't even know if this video is going to go up on its own or tied to something else. I guess it's a good video to go up because not everything is literally almost nothing's a home run, and not everything is even an ounce of success. I go to a lot of garage sales where I walk away with jack. And sometimes it's because the prices are too high, sometimes because there's no value in it, or sometimes because I just don't want to deal with it. I almost bought a new with tags Nike Polo a couple weeks ago. It was $1, and the comps on it were like 25. Like, that's a good flip, $1 into 25. But I hate clothes, and I had it in my hand and I was gonna get it. I didn't, and I only had a 20 in my pocket, and I was just like, you know what? There's too many things about this that don't fit me. I don't have the cash. Like, I don't have the exact change. I can't find anything else to buy. Everything else at this sale is too expensive, and I don't like clothes, so I put it back. Coincidentally, I left that sale and I went around to the sale next door, and that's where I got those Back to the Future fan club magazines and the Star Wars ones and that Sesame Street board game, you know. So you just, you know, I don't know. I don't have a broader point to make. I don't usually get bothered when I can't make a deal. I never get bothered when I can't make a deal. And I wasn't bothered with her either. Like, she was like, because I guess I did throw out $50 for everything, because then she just went, nope. And that's what started the conversation about how she looked it up and it's $150 just for that one system. That's how the conversation started. So I'm not bothered by that. I'm like, okay, and I'll keep it pushing. I'll move on. And I was trying to look at her stuff, and she wanted to keep talking about it. Meanwhile, it's sitting outside and it's starting to rain, and it's just sitting there, and I'm like, well, if I don't move this inside, this stuff is going to be trash later when she calls me. So I picked it up and said, let's get this out of the rain. It's just the whole experience was just something else, man. It was something else. So, oh well. Well, I was going to say we didn't get anything this weekend, but we did actually at that other warehouse sale yesterday. So you'll see, you've already seen that video, I think, at this point, where I talked about it at the start of this video. Man, 2020 got me messed up, man. I don't even know what year it is. So appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below. I'll see you next time.